once you have your license, there wasn't really an ecosystem or a hub. Why don't we set up a chamber for virtual assets right here in the UAE?
Where do you see BTC in the next 5 years?
I do believe that the price of $500,000 could be a realistic price target in the next 5 years. Everyone thought, okay, well, NFTs it's the future of everything, right? There's a huge euphoria and people were kind of blinded by that. Some people would say that most crypto investors are gamblers. It's as much gambling as the stock market is gambling. So we were hanging out, we went to the bar, we were having a few drinks. Then this girl passed by. You started obviously chatting to the girl. Turns out that she was in the NFT space. She ended up exchanging her number with me instead of you. 3 years later, I actually have a baby with her.
Hello and welcome to BetTalks, powered to you by 0x Processing. I'm Rick Godds and I'm joined by another guest. He is an entrepreneur, a crypto enthusiast. He is the CEO and co-founder of The Block. Danosche, welcome to BetTalks.
Thank you so much, Rick. Pleasure to be here.
Brilliant, brilliant. Great having you here. I know obviously we've been in talks to get you obviously on the show. Thanks for coming down.
Thanks for having me.
I want to know more about what you've been doing. We have known each other for several years. Right? This is not a first meet.
Without you knowing.
Without me knowing. And then we've met obviously so many different networking events. You're running your own events as well in Dubai. But I want to know more about sort of what it is you're doing now. Obviously, The Block. I've had a read of it. It looks quite exciting. Tell me more.
All right. So The Block is an initiative by myself and a few of the co-founders, a guy called Farbod Saderian. He was a few years, more than 20, 25 years in software, built a lot of software in Austria for a lot of big companies, then realized that about 6 years ago, there was a lot of companies that wanted to build software in tokenization. Realized that there's a huge demand from companies in Europe to relocate to the UAE. So in fact, he came here about 9 months ago to set up his own company with Vara and realized that it's not always as straightforward as one would imagine. You know, Dubai still being quite at the forefront of things, but on the regulatory landscape, things can be quite complicated, not always very easy. And once you have your license, there wasn't really an ecosystem or a hub or some place where you could really get access to everyone under the same roof.
Yeah.
And that's how the conversations kind of started. And then he came up with the idea that why don't we set up a chamber for virtual assets right here in the UAE, in Dubai. And the whole purpose of that was really to bring together all the big players, all the startups, everyone really under one roof, so that if you, let's say, for example, if you're, let's say, like 0x Processing, a payment provider, and you want to have access to crypto companies, or you want to have access to stable coins, or you want to have access to certain companies that want to use your services, you can find all of that with us.
On The Block.
On The Block.
Okay, so it's a bit of a blockchain kind of theory, networking kind of tool.
Yeah, so look, the blockchain is all about the network itself, right? Yeah. But many times we fail to duplicate that network in reality, in the physical world. So what we have created now is, I would say, a network that is second to none, where we have a big physical presence. So we have a huge co-working office spaces that we're building right now in Dubai World Trade Center. And then we have an experience center, which is a 500 square meter space in a retail unit in One Central, so just across the street from Bybit on the ground floor, which is going to be used to host a lot of cool events. We're going to have a podcast studio. Would love to have you there as well.
Absolutely, we'll be down.
Yeah, and there's going to be cafe for the members. So it's a really cool spot that's going to come to life very soon.
So you're in partnership with the Dubai World Trade Center, correct?
They are endorsing this project correctly, yeah.
That's pretty big, huh?
Yeah.
I mean, congratulations.
Yeah, thank you.
So, I mean, listen, you've been around the sort of crypto blockchain, sort of now Web3 space for many years, right? I mean, you've been in Dubai 9 years.
9 years.
I mean, you've seen the market change sort of drastically, okay? Some for the better, some for the worse.
Yeah.
How have you found yourself sort of stabilizing in that market and sort of adapting?
Look, there's one thing that is certain, and that's that this market is never stable. You can never stabilize in this market. It's constantly changing, and you constantly need to evolve with the market. You know, one of the things that I noticed, because before The Block, I started something called Art DAO, which became the largest Web3 community out here. And the people that past the, let's say, 3-4 years without scamming anyone, or without being shady, or without being dodgy, and the people that actually were building solid products and were building their reputations, I can see those people really flourishing now in the second wave of crypto. So it was really about building your own personal brand and building your reputation. And now, when the markets are changing, a lot of people are moving into new positions, new jobs, new opportunities. And it's all about how quickly you can adapt to the ever-changing world.
Good answer. I like that, yeah. So the Art DAO, tell me more about this. I mean, you've done over 50 events in Dubai. Is this just an event or networking kind of meetups? What was the whole purpose of it?
Look, initially the purpose of Art DAO was just to help traditional artists get into the NFT space.
Yeah.
And back then, with the Bored Apes, just going crazy, and all these NFT projects going crazy, and artists like Snoop Dogg, Eminem, all of these guys using these PFPs as their profile pictures, everyone thought, okay, well, NFTs is, it's the future of art. It's the future of everything, right? It was
now it doesn't seem to be that way.
There was a huge euphoria, and people were kind of blinded by that. And there was a lot of speculation, obviously. And initially, we thought that artists, their way, they are now becoming the future of companies through NFTs. So we wanted to help them IPO and bringing all these traditional artists into Web3. That's the initial idea, but that never happened. Why? Because we wanted to learn more about the market, so we connected with other like-minded people. And this was back in 2021, before I think me and you met, or just around the same time.
Which is another conversation we're going to come to. Yeah.
It was around the same time, and we just met with 10 people at one initial meetup. And the plan was never to start a community, but then that 10 people first meetup grew to 30 people 2 weeks later.
Wow.
And we were like, wow, there's a lot of people in the space. And then 2 months later, we had a sponsored event at the Arts Club here in Dubai. And we had investors, we had people from the royal family. We had a lot of cool people.
Wow.
And we were like, wow, this is really, a lot more than we were expecting in 2 months.
Yeah.
So a few months later, we had done some events with some of the biggest brands in the space. We had Gary Vee visiting us. We did a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
And that's when it started to take off. And then it became a community. Then we launched our own NFT collection. We did a lot of cool stuff. And for the last 3-4 years, there's been a very few projects that actually survived. One thing that I'm very proud of was that we never disappeared. We were always there, always doing something. And the community is still very much alive today. Art DAO did around 10 events at Token 2049. And now is building out the membership club here in Dubai.
Brilliant. Sounds great. So, you've been around the space for a long time, especially the crypto blockchain industry. I mean, I've been around sort of crypto since sort of 2017, right? I've seen the ICO crash in 2018. Then we saw sort of NFTs. And now we're sort of seeing meme tokens. I mean, what's next? I mean, where is this journey going, in your opinion?
Look, NFTs was highly driven by speculation and greed. Same with memes, but that was speculation and greed on steroids.
I like that.
Good
quote.
There was a lot of liquidity being sucked out of the other coins, moving into memes, but then obviously it wasn't long lasting because a lot of people got burnt, a lot of people lost a lot of money, and when that happens, you kind of lose the trust of the retail audience.
Yeah.
So now the meme craze is kind of dying out. There's a few memes that have very significant cultural value, like the Pepe coin and some of these others. I still believe that they have a role to play in the overall landscape. But this year, I really believe that money is flowing into value. And this is something that I've been waiting for. It's flowing into RWAs. It's flowing into, so for those that don't know, it's real world asset tokenization. So tokenization of real estate, of art, of anything, really anything that's an asset. And you have money flowing into a lot of AI projects, a lot of infrastructure projects, a lot of what we call DeFi, like decentralized finance and AI. So that's where I think the future lies, at least for the foreseeable future.
Okay. Interesting stuff. Well, listen, I mean, the block sounds great. I mean, the way I see this is a networking PR kind of setup, right? The block, you can get access to, like you say, investors. You can get access to anyone that you need within that sort of field. How are you separating yourself away from the rest? I mean, there's a lot of different kind of network PR agencies out there. How will the block be different?
That's a great question. That's a really good question. So that's something that we realized as well, that, we looked, obviously, running Art DAO, I had to see who is in the space, who is in the market, which other communities are out there, which other ecosystems are out there. And some ecosystems are doing some things really well, some ecosystems aren't doing a lot of things very well, and some ecosystems are doing a lot of things really well. And there's a lot of these small hubs and satellites around the world. But one thing that I really felt here in the UAE was that there was no one doing everything really well. And what I mean by that is there were some people that were doing events really well, or there were some people that were doing government relations really well, or PR very well, or just connections between people really well, or education. But there was no one bringing all of it together under one roof and really bringing a lot of valuable connections to their members.
Yeah.
So many times you pay a fee. I don't know, it can be anything from $2,000 a month to $2,000 a year, or to $500,000 a year. But regardless of the fee, many times I felt like people weren't getting value for what they were paying for. So we bring a different approach to the block. Everyone in the block has a very, very strong business background, a lot of connections in the space.
So people are vetted before they come through the door.
One is people are vetted when they come through the door, but we also have a lot of deals that we already have ready to bring to our members. So we have almost $9 billion worth of real estate and tokenization deals that we want to just give to the partners in our company to deal with.
Okay, wow. So is it a subscription base then to be part of the block, or how will it work?
There's a membership model.
Yep.
And what we call ourselves is we are the international chamber for virtual assets. So once you become a member, there's an entry key, let's say, that you use, and that's your membership in the chamber that gives you the basic access. But then we have access blocks on top of that. So if you're a member and you want to get access on top of that, you can get different types of bundles. So we have the events and experiences block. We have the inner circle block. We have the advisory block. We have the media and PR block. We have the deal flow block. So really depending on what you're looking for.
Interesting stuff. And what time frame are we looking for this? I mean, what stage are you at the moment with the block?
I mean, look, we already onboarded some really good members like Avalanche, Solana. We're talking to some really big players. We have, I think, more than 35 companies right now, members in our ecosystem. We have a lot of startups that have applied to be part of our startup ecosystem. And we have access to more than 200 investors, VCs, and family offices. So already the network has grown quite a lot. Now, in the next 2 months, we're also going to be opening up officially our spaces, and that's going to be quite exciting.
Interesting. And how would our viewers, how would they get access to the blog? What's the best sort of form? I mean, obviously social media, but how could a new member look to join at the blog?
The best way is just if you go on theblock.ae, there's a you can book a meeting online. You're gonna get assigned to one of our team members and have an initial conversation. It's a discovery call just to understand your needs. Because every customer is different and every need is different. So we really tailor everything depending on who we're speaking to.
Fantastic stuff. Well, I mean, good luck, obviously, with the project. Obviously, you are technically a startup, but you're coming off the back of the Art DAO, so you already have that network. So there's no reason, obviously, why this won't succeed. The market's pumping at the moment. We are with the date that we're on, so maybe things will change, but who knows? Here at BetTalks, we discuss everything from gaming/gambling, crypto, AI, Web3, metaverse, blockchain, everything emerging tech within the UAE. Now, obviously your background is crypto. Is crypto gambling?
That's a great, I mean, some people would say that most crypto investors are gamblers. Is it gambling? It's as much gambling as the stock market is gambling.
Okay.
So, yes, there is a higher risk in crypto. So if you're investing into crypto, you are prone to take a higher risk, or you're not as risk averse as if you would, let's say, invest into gold or something like that. But for some people, they would say no, because they're so convinced that that crypto is the future of the financial economy, that they don't see it as gambling. They see it as a very safe bet.
Correct. Yeah. So when you say the future of finance, I mean, put it this way, your sort of local high street banks are not closing down anytime soon. So where do you see the future of crypto? Let's say within the next sort of 10 to 15 years. 0x processing are focused mainly on two things: acceptance rate and security, achieving an unprecedented level by combining proprietary blockchain infrastructure with broad account security measures. 0x processing, crypto payments for your business.
Look, it's really hard to say where crypto is going to be in 10 to 15 years, but if we just look at the next few years, the banks are now adopting a lot of stable coins.
Yeah.
They are using blockchain for their settlements. Traditionally, if you want to, let's say, send money from Dubai to the UK, it can take up to 5 banking days.
Correct.
Right? Which is crazy. I mean, we live in a really modern day and age. It shouldn't take 5 days to
with
settle
KYCs, KYBs, this and everything. Yeah.
And it goes through correspondent banks to get approved and this and that. But now with the blockchain, you can settle it within 10 minutes, sometimes even less.
Even less, yeah.
And that's where I believe there's a convergence of the traditional financial markets with crypto and the technology that crypto offers. Because people confuse crypto with all these coins and tokens, right? But it's actually built on top of blockchain. And blockchain is a financial instrument and tool. It's like an infrastructure for the banks to build on top of. And we're now seeing that with Ripple working with a lot of banks, Bitpanda, a lot of these exchanges, enabling the banks to trade with crypto on the blockchain.
Yeah. I mean, the way you look at crypto, I mean, it is a form of payment method, right? I mean, the usability factor of, but more in the UAE, especially in Dubai, you can purchase property, you can purchase cars, automobiles with cryptocurrency. But anywhere throughout the world, it's still very frowned upon, right? Yeah. The US, Europe is still very frowned upon of accepting crypto. So it's used as a form of a payment method, instant transactions. And when you look at the sustainability of it at the moment, the market is very erratic, right? So companies that are building an asset value company, I mean, if you built a company 2 months ago on Ethereum, I mean, Ethereum's just completely tanked, right? You're going to have some serious problems if you're not using stable tokens. And this is the problem with sustainability, I find. Accepting cryptocurrency as a form of payment method for any companies is high risk, right? So without that sustainability, it's so volatile. Companies could crash overnight without using stable tokens. How can USDT be under investigation weekly with the FCA when every crypto company is backed by USDT? Well,
I mean, first we need to analyze that statement a little bit. I would say that a lot of companies are trading with USDT, but now a lot of exchanges, you cannot even withdraw USDT anymore. It's a challenge to do it from Binance or from a lot of other exchanges as well. So USDT is going through a big hammering right now, both from the regulators, and there's different theories and arguments as to why that is happening specifically to USDT and not some of the other stable coins. I'm not going to go into that. But what I can say is that if someone wants to settle international transactions, you need stable coins to do that.
For sure.
And you need on-ramps and off-ramps. And crypto is enabling companies to do that. Now, is USDT a safe stablecoin? Well, I'm not sure if they audited their books in terms of how much backing of actual USDT they have, but I do know that lately they have been buying up a lot of bonds, probably to actually be able to show that their treasury is backed by something that is not built on just air and bubbles.
100%.
So, look, USDT I don't think is going to disappear anytime soon. It might for political reasons, but for financial reasons, I don't see why it would.
USDT is the fastest form of money transfer the world's ever seen. Would you agree on that?
I would say that there is a lot of... So USDT is on two chains. It's on Ethereum and it's on Tron. Ethereum is not known to be the fastest. Tron is slightly faster, but you have faster blockchains than that.
Correct.
But to say that crypto is the fastest way to settle payments is true.
Yeah.
If you compare it to...
I'm talking in volumes. I would say USDT is the highest volume of transfers.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is a bit scary. of where the market's going, in my opinion.
I mean, if USDT would crash, it would
big problems.
Yeah, that would be a huge problem. And I think that's, the current contingency risk that you have in one stable coin is too big. The exposure you have to one stable coin is too big, which is why the government is now trying to pull whatever levers or strings they have to make sure that that's being diversified.
Correct. What's your thoughts on USDC coming now more acceptable and more sort of common in the market?
Look, USDC is an internationally established stablecoin. They are working with a lot of the big financial institutions. It's highly regulated, even more so than USDT. I think it's a good thing to have an alternative. And right now, USDC definitely has a better reputation than USDT. People are more prone to accepting USDC, and I think that there's a shift coming now. Whether or not that's politically, kind of pushed or not, is a different story.
It's a different story. Agreed. Yeah, it's very, very uncertain times, but yeah, it's very challenging in times because obviously without USDT, the market collapses, in my opinion.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
So let's move away from that side of things. I want to know a little bit more about Danosche, right? Originally from Sweden.
Grew up in Sweden.
Born and raised in
Sweden.
Yeah. You've been in Dubai for 9 years.
9 years.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, tell me your real thoughts on Dubai. Good thing, good side and bad side of it, because obviously there's perks and troughs and everything.
So let's start with the good.
Yeah. Okay.
So what's really good about Dubai is that anyone that moves to Dubai usually moves here because they're ambitious and they want to achieve something.
Agreed.
That's one. Two is, so you have a high level of talent, in many ways, talent and people with high ambitions that want to achieve things. So it's a very fast-paced, fast-moving place. You never get bored. And time, I've been here for 9 years now. It feels like I came yesterday.
Agreed. Same. I'm 6 years. It literally goes like tomorrow.
It goes like this. And you know what they say? They say if you lived a long life, you lived a really boring life.
Yeah,
right?
yeah, of course.
So,
yeah.
So that's a good thing about Dubai. Secondly, is that I told someone recently, I'm amazed by how well the government has managed this country. I think I told my mom, because she, originally we're from Iran. She's always complaining about, Iran could have been so much better, this and that. I was like, look, it's all about the management.
Yeah.
The UAE has managed this country flawlessly, and they managed it in such a beautiful way that everyone feels safe. There is no crime. You cannot see any crime. I'm leaving my car keys in my car. I'm leaving my apartment, I shouldn't say it, open. You're more than welcome if you want to come and rob me. Yeah. And everything works. You have so many different nationalities. Everyone is respecting each other. No one screams or yells or anything in traffic. Yes, they honk some horns, but that's it.
That's it, yeah.
People are very respecting, and they respect the laws. That's what I love about this country. And the fact that the government is so forward-thinking that they have a ministry of AI. Or like I just read yesterday or today, I was walking and these handicap signs, it doesn't say handicap for the toilets, it says people of determination. So the fact that you call them people of determination shows how forward thinking this country is. Or that you have happiness centers. You have happiness centers in Dubai that is put in place to make sure that the people of Dubai are happy. And if you're not happy, you can go and complain at the happiness center.
Of course, it's crazy.
So I really, that's what I really, really respect and love about Dubai. The only thing downside is obviously I love nature. So being here, I crave to go back in the summers. I go back to Sweden. I spend a lot of time in nature. And the second thing is the air quality that I...
Just had this conversation this morning.
Yeah. I think that's something that definitely needs to improve here in the UAE.
I was in South Africa 2 months ago and literally come off the plane. It was like an oxygen tank had just hit your lungs.
Exactly.
There's zero oxygen in this air.
Yeah.
There's zero. You're in the middle of a desert, 45 degrees daily. Full of dust.
Humidity.
Yeah. You're not breathing good air.
No.
Luckily enough, I travel every 3 to 4 weeks, so do sort of get away from it, but it's, the air quality, and that is not going to change anytime soon. Traffic has got worse because obviously more people are now immigrating. It is a metropolitan country. I mean, they say now 80 to 85% is foreigners. So Dubai is only growing, I think, we say for the better, but also for the worse, right? The infrastructure cannot hold already what it's got. Yeah. And when they said, Habibi, come to Dubai, I mean, everyone did, right?
Exactly.
So it's a bit like a sort of catch-22 situation. So population, I mean, it's one of the most populated tourist places in the world. I mean, when people come over to visit, I think it's probably the worst feeling ever for me. So, I mean, you sort of go downtown. I mean, I don't go these places anymore. Exactly. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I live down there, but once you've seen the Burj Khalifa once, you've seen it a million times, right? So it's great for tourists, and I understand it has got the wow factor, but living here is a completely different situation. And you soon to realize that you these peak times, you're not traveling in them, you're avoiding certain places. But yeah, I mean, it is the best country in the world. The government are, like you say, they're 20,000 steps ahead of the game, and it's only growing for the better in some ways.
Look, the government has a remarkable way of solving for problems like this.
Yeah.
They are probably thinking 5 steps ahead of us right now about how to resolve some of these issues. One of the other things is that obviously I'm seeing Abu Dhabi taking a big chunk of the market. Like, a lot of people are moving to Abu Dhabi. They're talking about how great the nature in Abu Dhabi is and how calm and quiet it is. And soon you're going to have these high-speed trains coming to Dubai. You're going to have all these underground tunnels that's going to just shuttle you through to Dubai. So there's a lot of stuff happening.
The train is going to be 20 minutes from Dubai to Abu Dhabi, right?
Something like that.
Yeah. With less speed cameras.
Hopefully.
Yeah. I mean, you go to Abu Dhabi, you get 14 speed cameras just on the way there. That's not even coming back.
You know, I did a huge mistake once when they had changed the rules and regulations that in Abu Dhabi you can only drive. You have to drive at the speed limit that's on the sign, right?
Yeah.
So I drove to Al Ain once and came back because there was a surf wave in Al Ain, and I didn't know that Al Ain is part of Abu Dhabi. So I came back, and I received one flash on the way back, and I was like, I'm keeping the speed limit. Why am I receiving this one flash? Came back the next day, I checked my phone. I'd received 20 fines.
Oh my god! Oh my god!
20 fines in one day.
Oh my god! Yeah. That's ouch, and you can't appeal this, right?
No.
This is just.
I tried, but it was not possible.
Not possible. Yeah. No, it's Anyway, I mean, listen, that's part of living in Dubai. I mean, you get what you get. You got to abide by the laws, or you pay heavily. Huh?
And that's a good thing about
it. Yeah. So we met many years back at a networking event. You know what it's like in Dubai. You meet so many people, a lot of people passing through. And we met at a networking event. Tell me the story. I mean, it quite amazes me, the story, that how it worked.
I know you don't remember the story, but I remember it very clearly.
Well, I'm sure you do. Very vaguely. I remember his meeting, but very vaguely, yeah.
Look, and that was probably because I used to have long hair back then.
Yeah, okay.
I looked very different.
Yeah.
So I met you, obviously. We had a really nice conversation. So we were hanging out. We went to the bar. We were having a few drinks. We came back. And then this girl passed by, and you started obviously chatting to the girl.
I don't. No, okay.
I don't blame you.
It wasn't your wife at the time, I hope.
I don't blame you.
All right.
She was pretty, so we both kind of. I was happy that you started talking to her. So we started talking. Turns out that she was in the NFT space. Back then, I just started the Art DAO community, which she had never heard about.
Okay. Wow.
So in the end, she ended up exchanging her number with me instead of you.
Okay.
Maybe you're lucky.
Maybe I'm lucky. Yeah.
Because now 3 years later, I actually have a baby with her.
Congratulations.
Thank you. So yeah, I guess. I mean, depends on how you say. Actually, I'm really happy about everything.
Fantastic. Right. Congratulations. So, as well as a fantastic podcast host, I am also a relationship counselor as well. Yeah, I'm a matchmaker as well. So, congratulations on that. Brilliant. I mean, incredible story. I mean, yeah, we was at a networking event. You know, it's like you meet a million people. But imagine if I'd have not stopped your wife to talk to her. There you go.
See, I should go out with you more often.
Absolutely. Maybe not. Find another wife. Only joking.
It's okay. It's okay in the UAE.
Brilliant. Incredible story. So, we've touched base on crypto. We've touched base on the block. Now, we've touched base, obviously, a lot of Dubai and how things have changed. What's your thoughts on gambling becoming regulated come 2027 in Ras Al Khaimah?
Look, gambling has been around since, I don't know, 1950s, or maybe even much longer than that. When
Land-based casinos, a lot longer.
Yeah, but I remember I used to live in Chicago, where Al Pacino was. He used to run a lot of these speakeasies. And there's actually a fun story why it's called a speakeasy. Do you know why it's called a speakeasy?
No.
So back during the Prohibition in the U.S., people were not allowed to sell alcohol, right? So what did they do instead? There was a lot of these underground bars. And whenever someone usually they were speaking quite loudly, etc. in the bars. And then whenever police officers were passing by, the bartenders used to go, speak easy, like speak easy.
Yeah.
And that's why it was called speakeasies. Because these hidden bars that, nowadays is like really cool to go to. That's where it comes from Chicago. And back then, Al Capone used to run a lot of, the gambling part of it as well. So look, it's been around for a long time. Some countries it's been outlawed, in some countries it's been legal. I grew up in Sweden, where gambling is regulated by the government. Correct. The government owns the casinos essentially, and the government owns everything that has to do with gambling, so it's very controlled. And they try to make sure that even if like someone ends up in gambling abuse or addiction, there's funds set aside to treat that for people and help them out of it. Personally, I've never been into gambling, and maybe I shouldn't say this in a betting podcast, but I lost a lot of money when I was really young, and that scared me from ever wanting to gamble again. So it's always been like on very small amounts, but I have no kind of good or bad feelings against it. I do believe that here in the UAE, it's going to be a huge and massive driver for wealthy people to come to the UAE from Asia, but not just from Asia, also from other parts of the Middle East, from other parts of Europe, US. If you look at it, Las Vegas is pretty outdated. It's really old. Yes, it's fun, but it's super old. And there is definitely a gap in the market. You have Macau as well, sure.
Ras Al Khaimah in the middle.
But you have Ras Al Khaimah right in the middle, and in a place where everyone is moving. You have, I think I heard 200,000 high net worth individuals moving to the UAE between this year and next year. So you can just imagine what that's going to do to RAK. And I think RAK, if I had spare cash right now, I'd probably buy a piece of property in RAK right now.
100%, yeah. It's an absolute no-brainer. And they're saying it's going to be like the next Miami. I mean, this area, this Marjan Island, is unbelievable what they're doing.
I mean, look, the whole UAE, look at Abu Dhabi. They just announced the new Disneyland in Abu Dhabi. I mean, we were already living in a Disneyland.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
Now you have the real one moving to Abu Dhabi. And UAE is a place that is not going to die. In every historical period, you always had these epicenters of places where all the trade was kind of consolidating, all the innovation, trade, everything was happening in those specific places. I believe that right now we're in a time where things are moving away from the US. Part of it is happening in Asia, but a big chunk is now happening in the Middle East. Look at Saudi, look at the UAE, and I believe that we're just at the beginning of it, that UAE is going to grow massively. So this whole population problem, yes, it will be a problem, but you're going to have a lot of people move out to RAK and to Abu Dhabi as well.
Agreed. Extending them Emirates.
Exactly.
Yeah. Extending the Emirates. I've always been saying this. The reason why they're doing casino in Ras Al Khaimah is to extend that Emirates.
Yeah.
Dubai already has the infrastructure. It already has it. So there's no reason why you won't start seeing casinos popping up in Dubai. But it's to start is to get people out, get people investing in Ras Al Khaimah, get that sort of excitement about Ras Al Khaimah, which is fantastic stuff. So, but I mean, this is a change in history, right? I mean, a regulated land-based casino in a Muslim Islamic laws country. How do you think locals will accept this?
Look, it's always about, pushing the boundaries slowly. If they would have introduced it a few years ago, it probably wouldn't have gone down really well. So what Dubai has been able to do really well is to be a secular Muslim country in a way where the Muslim community is respected, the Christian community is respected, the Hindu, the Buddhist, everyone is respected, and everyone can do whatever they want within the bounds of the laws of the country.
Yeah.
Now, things that are technically not allowed in Islam, you already have in the UAE. But that's why the UAE has been able to manage itself so well, because it has been able to cater to the Western audience. You have pockets in the UAE that doesn't allow these things, like Sharjah. So that's accommodating more to the people that are very religious and don't want to be part of that. So
keeping that sort of, yes, Sharjah is still very under Islamic laws.
So you have the different pockets in the country, right? That appeal to different people, that appeal to different things. You know, RAK prior to this was pretty much a dead place, right? No one was going there. There was just a few hotels. Now that whole place is going to see a massive financial boom.
Huge.
And for that, I really respect His Excellency Sheikh Mohammed and his long-term vision about how to bring this country to life.
Yeah, for sure. And I think it needs it as well. Not that Dubai's saturated, but like I say, is that traffic has got to go out somewhere.
Yeah.
And not everyone wants the sort of hustle and bustle and the fast life. People with families, I mean, Dubai obviously is moving out further, sort of Dubai Hills 1, 2, it's extending further out. I mean, you've got the wilds out there, you've got sort of acres of morass. I mean, all this is sort of pushing out, right? That gap between Dubai and Abu Dhabi is really, really starting to close in. I mean, still a lot of desert, right? But eventually, there's no reason why that gap will sort of get closer and closer. So it's exciting times. Is Dubai forever for you?
So when I came, I said, I'm going to be here for 3 years, like most people do. And then I'm going to reevaluate. And then there was another 3 years and then another 3 years. And I mean, now I don't plan for the future anymore. My mom asked me recently, she's like, when are you going to move back to Sweden? I was like, Mom, look, I don't know. I'm going to be here for the foreseeable future.
Yeah.
I don't know where I will be in 3 to 4 to 5 years. I don't know what the world will look like in
Things
5
change.
years from now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I will be in Spain, if I will be in Morocco, if I will be, anywhere in the world. And because she wants to kind of plan her life around me. I was like, look, Mom, stop. You cannot plan your life around me because I cannot plan my life.
Yeah.
So really, I just live day by day.
I like that. So, listen, Danosche, it's been great having you on the show. All right. Good luck with the blog. It sounds great. On to all of our viewers, check out the blog.ae.
Yep.
The blog.ae. You actually have the domain for that. Very good, eh? The blog.ae. Check it out for PR membership, networking, events. It sounds great. And memberships. One last question. Where do you see BTC in the next 5 years?
I'm looking into the coffee cup to see.
To see the price.
In the next 5 years. Look, we're going to see the price move up. Probably some people are going to get euphoric when BTC reaches 120, 130. I think it's going to reach somewhere around 150. And then we're going to go back down again. Just looking traditionally at how much the prices have increased.
Yeah.
That looks like a target. Of course, I could be wrong. I'm not a magician or mathematician. But long term, in the next 5 years, BTC is almost like it's a currency that has gone out of Pandora's box. It's hard to close it. Some people say that it was invented by the CIA. Some people say that, that the NSA, the CIA was behind it. Whatever the reason, right now it's in the hands of the people and different countries. And it is a currency that holds value, and it is the gold of cryptocurrencies. So I do believe that the price of $500,000 could be a realistic price target in the next 5 years.
Wow.
If we enter into a crash and the markets rebound by then and have a proper bull run.
What do you think controls the market?
What or who?
What? Or who?
So some people would argue to say that the Federal Reserve controls the overall financial markets, that also controls crypto. So what we tend to see is that when interest rates are lower, that tends to really impact crypto assets very positively, just like the housing market. So right now, a lower kind of period of lower inflation rates, lower interest rates will boost the crypto markets. We could see a much higher price than 150 as well, depending on how long it's going to stay low. Obviously, the US dollar cannot be inflated until infinity unless they have accumulated enough Bitcoins in their national treasury to replace their national currency with Bitcoin or something else. What we're seeing now as well, back to your question, is there's a lot of countries that are considering adding Bitcoin to their national treasuries and to their national reserves. And that would see a huge additional demand for the token, for the price action of Bitcoin.
Very good answer. Very good answer. I like it. Danosche, it's been great having you on the show. I think you're very knowledgeable. And I want to come along when the block is up and running, the office is there.
Absolutely.
Come and show the support. It's been a pleasure. If you'd like me to find you another wife, let me know. Absolute pleasure having you on the show.
Thank you
Just
so much,
before we go, our 0x Processing merchandise, they are our main sponsors.
Oh, wow.
Please give them a follow and a tag.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much for coming along. It's
Much appreciated.
present on behalf of ourselves. And yeah, good luck with the block. Thank you
so
very much.
Rick.
Cheers. Thank you.
Bye.